And just when you think the journey has reached its final point, something unexpected happens. You start seeing your own content differently, not as a creator who is emotionally attached to every second of it, but as an observer who understands patterns, behaviors, and decisions. And that shift changes everything, because once you can see your work objectively, you gain a level of control that most creators never reach. Now imagine opening your channel and reviewing it like a strategist, noticing the small details you once ignored, the inconsistency in thumbnails, the variation in titles, the lack of a clear visual identity, and suddenly you realize that your audience wasn't confused by accident. They were confused because the signals you were sending were inconsistent. And in a platform like YouTube, inconsistency creates hesitation, and hesitation kills clicks. Because the viewer's mind works fast, very fast, and within seconds, they decide whether to stay or scroll, whether to trust or ignore, whether to click or move on. And if your content doesn't communicate a clear message instantly, it gets lost, not because it's bad, but because it didn't speak loudly enough in the moments that mattered. This is where the importance of packaging becomes undeniable, because packaging is not just design, it is communication. It tells the viewer what to expect. It sets the tone, it creates curiosity, and it acts as the first layer of storytelling before the video even begins. And when done correctly, it can turn an average video into something that feels compelling before a single word is heard. But even with perfect packaging, if the content inside doesn't deliver, the trust breaks. And once trust is broken, it becomes harder to regain, because audiences remember how you made them feel. And if they feel disappointed, they hesitate the next time. And that hesitation directly impacts your growth. So the real challenge is not just attracting viewers, it's keeping them. And keeping them requires delivering value that aligns with your promise, whether that value is information, entertainment, inspiration, or insight. Because when your content consistently delivers what it promises, your audience starts building confidence in your channel. And confidence is the foundation of loyalty, because when people trust that your videos will be worth their time, they don't just watch, they return, they engage, they share, and they become part of your growth without you having to chase them constantly. Now step back and look at the bigger picture. Your channel is no longer just a collection of videos. It is a system. And like any system, it needs balance, structure, and optimization. And if one part is weak, whether it's content, packaging, or consistency, the entire system feels the impact, which is why successful creators focus on improving every element, not just one. This is also where patience becomes one of your strongest assets, because building a brand is not an overnight process. It's a gradual accumulation of effort, improvement, and consistency. And the creators who succeed are the ones who stay committed long enough to see results, even when progress feels slow. And in that patience lies another powerful truth. Every video is a seed, and not every seed grows immediately. But when you plant consistently, improve continuously, and maintain direction, those seeds eventually grow into something larger than you expected, something that reflects not just effort, but persistence. Now think about the decision you faced at the beginning, whether to delete your channel or not. And by this point, that decision no longer feels like a question of yes or no, but rather a reflection of understanding, because now you know that deleting without learning is just repeating the same cycle, but evolving with awareness is what leads to real progress. Because the truth is, your channel is not the problem. Your approach is the opportunity. And once you shift your focus from results to process, from pressure to strategy, from uncertainty to clarity, you step into a completely different level of creation where every decision has meaning and every action moves you forward. So as this final part unfolds, understand that the real transformation was never about YouTube alone. It was about you, your thinking, your decisions, your ability to grow beyond frustration and into awareness. And that growth is something no one can take away from you, no matter what happens to your channel. And now, as you stand at the edge of action, the choice is clear, not because it's easy, but because it's informed, because you now see what others don't, you understand what others ignore, and you recognize the path that leads to real growth, not shortcuts, not luck, but intentional building. So whatever you decide next, make sure it aligns with what you've learned, because this moment is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a more powerful one, where you are no longer guessing. You are building with purpose, with clarity, and with a vision that has the potential to turn your channel into something far greater than you ever imagined.